Up next, please allow me to introduce a remarkable speaker, Mr. David Orban. Mr. David is an investor, entrepreneur, author, keynote speaker, and thought leader of the global technology landscape. His entrepreneurial accomplishments span several companies founded and grown over more than 20 years. Here to shed light on ethics at the intersection of decentralization and AI. Everyone, please join me on welcoming him on stage with a huge, well-deserved round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you for the kind introduction. The opportunity we have in front of us is very large and very important. It is important to get it right. At SingularityNET, we are building a decentralized, democratic, and inclusive platform for the emergence of a beneficial artificial general intelligence based on blockchain. SingularityNET today is an ecosystem of projects that embrace a very large spectrum of the problem spaces around, both in hardware and in software, in blockchain systems. And as the chairman of the supervisory board, for me it is a privilege to address an audience like yours. It is also just, I hope, the first step of a conversation that can move forward after the conference. If you want to take photos of the slides, actually you don't need to. This is the only slide you need to take a photo of, and then you can download all of them at your leisure. And if you do so, you will also receive an electronic copy of my book. But I have a few physical copies, so if you would like to have some, you can come by and I will be happy to give you one. Now, it is definitely the case that we can address our future challenges just by getting ready. And by being here, you are showing the ability to be forward-looking and to be ready for the future that is rapidly approaching. Now, that is the good news. The bad news is that even the experts are not feeling ready. That is the pace of development. We are looking at not even exponential acceleration anymore. The rate of change is super exponential. We are living in a time that I call of jolting technologies. Now, the digital world that we are building really needs pioneers that are exploring the possibilities that lie ahead. And as such, it is absolutely normal, natural, unavoidable that we are all going to make mistakes. These mistakes should be affordable mistakes. No one wants to die in the physical world, for sure. No one wants to create harm through their actions or their omissions. However, it must be recognized that in good faith, as we explore, mistakes will be made, and to understand that it is worth it. We cannot build a future, we cannot achieve our dreams without the cost that has to be paid. Now, in the past, we have been building naturally centralized systems. And these centralized systems were quite effective in achieving our goals, whether they were around a given community in ancient times, let's say a city state, or more recently a nation state. And especially, it is easy to understand that when we follow, hopefully with our eyes open, but still follow the leadership that decides what needs to be done, we go in a given direction that can be a completely wrong direction. That is the danger of centralized systems. As efficient as they are, they don't allow a wide spectrum of exploration and experimentation. When people object that Bitcoin is inefficient, they don't understand that the inefficiency of Bitcoin is a desirable trait. It is part of the nature of decentralized systems to be maybe less efficient than centralized ones, but that allow the understanding of a wider range of possible solutions. The nature of decentralized systems is also that of favoring openness. We can make a choice, just like in the topology of our solutions, centralized or decentralized, we can make a choice whether we want them to be closed or open. And it has been the case traditionally that the decentralized blockchain-based solutions tended to be very open, maybe to an excessive degree, where it was very easy to copy ideas and then win on execution, rather than the ideas being protected with patents or through trade secrets or in other more traditional ways. Of course, we are very familiar, all of us, with the features of transparency and accountability that blockchain brings to the world. And all of these characteristics complement in a very interesting manner what has been the nature over the course of the past 50, 40, 30, 20 years of artificial intelligence development. With some notable exceptions, AI tended to be centralized. Also, outside of university and research environments, AI tended to be proprietary and closed. Some of you may remember, if not, you can look it up. AI systems were even vertically integrated. The first dedicated, specialized computers for artificial intelligence were a completely closed proprietary system that you could use for nothing else but development in a very special language called Lisp that at the time ruled the world of artificial intelligence. However, now we are at a point where over the course of the past 10 years or so, AI has flipped. It became radically open. It became potentially as decentralized as the blockchain. And we are seeing the most exciting results in AI at the intersection, the cross-fertilization of these systems with each other. Now, your job is to understand what are the tools that are available and how you can fruitfully use them, deploy them, maintain, upgrade, evolve their applications so that you can create sustainable value for your own organizations and for the people that take advantage of the applications that are being built. And this is a complex task that is made even more complex given how rapidly the AI platforms are evolving. The ethical issues that are emerging very importantly, are common to blockchain and AI. We must build systems that lead to human flourishing. That is not possible in an evolving landscape of behaviors and understood and accepted systems that the participants in the various communities belong to without, for example, privacy. We must understand that security, both at the level of individuals and at the level of communities, small and large, cannot be an afterthought. Systems must be built with a security-oriented mindset so that they can be relied upon even in adversarial conditions, proudly and without fear that their value and their availability is compromised. The ethical future that we must build through these challenges, as well as others, must come rapidly, not only because already our current challenges are acute and important, but because the future ones are going to be even larger. The foundations of our approach, keeping in mind what are the conditions in order to create solid solutions of AI and blockchain as we are building them together, cannot but become the pillars of the future applications that are even more advanced. We know that the world is interconnected, and we can ask ourselves, do we want to separate the world and isolate communities? Do we want knowledge to stop enriching everyone? Or do we want to build something that interconnects, just like the financial transactions of Bitcoin's global network? We have to ask ourselves, how can we similarly build AI solutions that interconnect and enrich people all over? We can take advantage of the passion and the skills of participants the world over. I travel constantly speaking to audiences that are alert, skilled, and eager to be an active participant in these developments like you. And on all continents, there are people who want to be part of what is happening, and they can through the online platforms that we all use and share. The emerging field of digital and algorithmic ethics is getting constantly enriched by novel components and new findings. My talk is not at all technical, but you can find very interesting new developments, recent developments, even in the past few months or weeks, that concern our ability to build reliable systems that can be provably behaving in an ethical manner, even if you are not able to analyze at every moment their entire code base. The zero-knowledge approaches that are now being adopted both by blockchain and by AI applications are an example of the frontiers of mathematics that is now enabling a new generation of explainable and reliable applications. The impact of what we are creating is tremendous. 8 billion people are going to be emancipated and empowered by the tools that we are building. And this doesn't even include the emerging machine civilization, where robots and software agents will be similarly required to participate under ethical, legal, and regulatory constraints that not only humans, but they must also adopt and share. We will be able to design collaboration platforms that are not monopolies and are not universal, but platforms that enable the emerging of consensus mechanisms for dynamic conflict resolution and the ability to design what actually works in different places, in different communities in the world. The tool set of the future is exciting, is accessible, is immediately available. It is literally just a few clicks away. When I started talking about Bitcoin, I would tell my audiences just to send me their email, and I would send them a Bitcoin. And so few of them would take that single step. And maybe a year later, they would come back and say, oh, I wish I listened to you, David. Now Bitcoin is $100. It's too late. And I would tell them, well, maybe it is too late, maybe not. Why don't you take that step now? And then a year later, or whenever it was, they would say, oh, I still didn't. Now Bitcoin is $1,000. It's too late. Well, it wasn't at 100, it wasn't at 1,000, but the exchange rate of Bitcoin against whatever fiat currency is not even the point. What you gain when you participate actively in the exploration of the future is a value that is immense and incomparable to whatever other financial gain that you may also have earned. And that is my invitation to you, to be active and proactive in getting your hands dirty and understanding what can be built. Also because the resistance towards change is huge by incumbent institutions that are interested in preserving the status quo. Even if more and more of them recognize that the change is unstoppable. That is why conflict is emerging. But we have to understand we will overcome the resistance, we will realize the change, whether it takes a year or 10 years or maybe 50, that is in the nature of things. And it is not going to deliver the Hollywood dystopias of existential conflict. We have to be alert, and we have to recognize that even the deepest agreements that build human societies could be renegotiated as technologies allow us to raise our moral and ethical ambitions to levels that couldn't be dreamt before. The balance that regulators and policymakers must strike as a consequence is tremendously difficult. Whether they have been elected or appointed, their role is unenviable. It is a real hard tightrope they have to walk on, understanding that they cannot destroy what exists, while they should preserve the innovation that is possible and it is needed in order to build the future. In the past, it was easy. We had a nice war, and anyone who was dead was wrong. Today, we should aim to have a system that allows us to build what comes next alongside the old solutions without using the blunt tool of violent conflict. And this requires both individual organizational adaptability that is unprecedented, beyond what we have had any time in the past. That is the tension that we are all feeling. That is the anguish that we are all living. The responsibility of the choices that we are making. It is easy to believe that everything is relative. All of us live our lives, and each of us believe that we are unique. But maybe it is not even true. Every generation thought the same. I don't believe that is the case. We are in a unique moment in the history of humanity where the decisions that we are making will matter and reverberate in this phase transition for thousands of years to come. And that is why it is so important that we not only preserve but build new degrees of freedom in order to find the path that works. And as we do, we will be building a new civilization. If you are as passionate as I am in becoming a part of this, you can actually, by becoming a candidate to be a member of the SingularityNET Supervisory Council, where I am currently chairman, and our elections are around the corner. We are accepting candidates, and anyone can stand up and say, I want to contribute. And so I welcome you. I am looking forward to welcome you on the platform. Thank you very much.